Hi guys, I'm Miss Davis. I am the Pre-AP English 2 honors teacher at Okeechobee High School. You might recognize me if you've been to the high school because I'm the woman who's like 6'2" and has all kinds of different color hair. Right now I'm growing my hair out, so please excuse like my little palm tree on top of my head. It's annoying and I like it on my face, so that's why I look like a crazy person right now. So I'm going to be introducing you guys today to what Pre-AP is. One thing I want to start off with is when you guys get your schedules made on Skyward, it's probably going to be coded as English 2 honors. So if you do sign up for Pre-AP and you say English 2 honors, don't freak out. Check the teacher's name, and as long as you see Davis there, you should be good. So this is an introduction to the class. I believe on the first slide and the last slide, I have my email. Feel free to use that email to message me at any point in time with any questions. I am a book nerd. I would love to talk to you guys. I would love to answer any of your questions. So if you are curious about something, just reach out to me. I promise I'll answer as soon as I can. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I'm going to break down the basics for you guys of what Pre-AP entails. So in Pre-AP, you guys are going to be expected to read grade level novels to completion. So I'll get into this a little bit later on. One thing I've shifted is that there's going to be a lot of free choice involved in what books you guys are reading this year. If you guys have talked to people who took the class 2 years ago, or if you talk to people who took the class this year, they might say, hey, we shifted middle of the year to do something different. So that's just where that comes from. So I'll talk about that a little bit more later. So once you guys have read your novels to completion, you're expected to be able to comprehend the reading, apply literary concepts to what you've read. So stuff that we're learning in class about literature, terminology, vocab words, that kind of stuff. You should be able to take that out of a lesson and apply it to what you're reading. So for writing and just discussions in general, you're going to be expected to use textual evidence to justify your claims. So you can't just go out making claims willy-nilly. You need to be able to back it up. And the most important part of using textual evidence is providing your own commentary. So I don't want to just hear regurgitated what the author said, what the text said. I want to hear how you interpreted that and what meaning you get from it based off of your commentary. And then last, and of course, like one of the most important things is you guys are going to apply what you've learned to your own reading. So we'll get to that a little bit in a minute. So for the summer reading, you guys are going to notice this is probably the biggest shift from the last 2 years to now. Is one thing we've been reading in previous years is Bulfinch's Mythology, which I'm going to show it to you right now. Don't freak out. You guys aren't expected to read it this summer. You guys are lucky, and you're probably going to get a lot of complaints from your friends that have. But this is what the summer reading used to be. And while Bulfinch's Mythology is a great book and it is a great resource for an anthology of different myths, be it Greek, Norse, Arthurian, or Charlemagne, it is hefty, as you can tell. So I wanted to keep that classical Greek feel to the summer reading because a lot of the stuff we're going to be doing first quarter is going to tie into Greek tragedies and Greek plays. And you're going to need to know a little bit about Greek mythology in order to kind of get your feet. So I ended up pairing up with Miss Sherlock, who's our media specialist at OHS, and she told me about this neat book called Circe by Madeline Miller. You might recognize her name if you have read The Song of Achilles. If you haven't, you need to because it's a very good book, and so is Circe. So here's a little blurb about what Circe is about. This is written by Anna Carey from the Irish Times. Despised by her divine family, Circe discovers her powers of sorcery when she turns a human fisherman into a god. When he spurns her for another nymph, Scylla, Circe transforms her rival into a horrific sea monster who becomes the scourge of all sailors, an act that will haunt Circe for the rest of her life. So the cool thing about this book, it is a modern novel. It is contemporary, so you guys aren't going to be like reading it like, what the heck is this person trying to say? But it ties in a lot of ancient myths and a lot of different ancient myths, which is in a way that's really cool. So it has a lot of parallels to the Odyssey. So you'll see a bit of Odysseus. I know obviously it has Scylla, and a bunch of other different characters from Greek mythology are going to pop up. And if you guys are really into Greek mythology, you are going to have a lot of fun with this book. I will say, if you are a big fan of mythology and you like to read all about that stuff, is that this has a lot of stuff in it that might be interesting to you, Wolfinch's mythology. So just putting it out there that it is a great resource, and if you're into that kind of stuff, it might be pretty interesting. So with that being said, the summer reading does come with an essay. Although it is a short essay, I'm going to have you guys write about 500 words responding to this prompt. A central theme of Homer's Odyssey is a longing for Nostos, or homecoming. In what ways does that theme resonate with Circe's story? So you guys are going to read the novel, respond to this prompt in 500 words, and you're going to bring that with you on the first day of school next year. So this is all going to be given to you in a handout that I'm going to attach to with this video. So your teachers should have access to the summer reading handout, just so you know. So the pillars of pre-AP, there are 4 really important things that we're going to be focusing on throughout the year. One is vocabulary and literary terms, because building your vocabulary is very important for the FSA, and your literary terms are kind of going to go in tandem with that, because while they are more technical and you're going to apply them to different readings, they are just as important, because knowing your stuff when you get to the FSA is going to help you a lot in the long run. So we're going to be working with those throughout the year, doing practice and stuff like that, and that's that. Obviously, we're going to be doing a lot of writing. It is an English class, and you guys are getting prepped for the 10th grade FSA. So the writing will do a lot of different persuasive, informative, you know, the good stuff, argumentative. So be expecting that. Novels, we are going to be doing a lot of free reads and some assigned novels throughout the year. And then discussions, you guys are going to have a lot of involvement in discussions. We'll do seminar discussions, fish bowls, book talks, all kinds of stuff. So the first quarter is going to be what I like to call our tragedy unit. So this is where we get all the sad stuff out of the way and then spend the rest of the year looking at other stuff. So in our first 9 weeks, we're going to focus on assigned reading. We'll be taking a look at the following. So the first 2 are actually Greek plays, one by Sophocles and one by Euripides. So we have Antigone and Medea, both very good, both very short, some of my favorites. The last thing we're going to read in the first quarter is Macbeth. Macbeth is the 10th grade Shakespeare. It is like my second favorite Shakespeare play. I really like Macbeth. And we're going to be taking a look at that just because it kind of fits in with the play structure and the tragedy and just all that good stuff. So that's what the first quarter is going to focus on. And then once we get all that out of the way, we're going to go into what I like to call our free read structure. So one thing that I've started experimenting with this year, and I absolutely love, and it has been so much fun, is letting you guys choose what novels you want to read and teaching based off of what you are reading. Now you might say, how the heck do you do that if you don't know what we're reading? So here's kind of like a miniature breakdown of what we're going to do. So the first thing is you guys are going to have a day where you go into the library and we're going to have book tastings. And no, that does not mean you're going to take a chunk out of the book and eat it. Please don't. Ms. Sherlock and I will both be on your case about that. You are actually going to go in, Ms. Sherlock's going to have a bunch of different tables set up with different genres. So you have nonfiction, realistic fiction, historical fiction, suspense, mystery, thriller, horror, romance, all kinds of stuff. And basically you'll spend 4 minutes at each table, pick a book that you find interesting, spend 4 minutes reading the first few pages, and then on a piece of paper you're going to write down whether or not you're into that. You'll move to the next table, do the same thing over and over and over again, and at the end you get to pick one of those books that you thought you would want to read and check it out and take it home and read it and work with it in class. So each day we're also going to have time to read in class, which is really cool. It's a fun way to get some work done. You get to knock out some of your reading in class. I get to read some of my book, which is nice. And it's just a really nice way to make sure you guys don't get too overwhelmed with the reading weight. So while we're working through your books, while you guys are in the process of reading them, we're going to be doing close reading analysis throughout. So we're going to take some literary elements each week, talk about what they are, take some notes on what they are, and then we're going to work on finding them in our novels, finding textual evidence to support that, and then explaining why it's important. And then at the end, you guys are going to end up having a formative assessment at the end of each book. So that differs from different books, different quarters. We're going to do a lot of a variety of different projects, basically. So for one, you'll have a book report. For one, you'll probably have a visual presentation. For another, you're going to have a rehugo, which is like a big research project. So there's just different things that you're going to tie in at the end to kind of show me what all you've learned throughout the quarter based off of the book that you chose. So I just want to thank you guys for listening. If you have any questions at all, please email me at my email, which is michaela.davis@okie.k12.fl.us, which sounds like a bunch of gobbledygook, but it's written right there, so you guys can copy that down. I'll be sharing a summer reading assignment with your teachers very soon. Actually, I should be attaching it with this video, so you guys will have access to the summer reading assignment. So I look forward to seeing you guys if you choose to take pre-AP. I'll see you next year, hopefully. Bye.